What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be looking at the Open Great League once again, and the team that I have for you today is Corviknight, HAKAMO, and Gastron. Now this team was submitted to the channel by a member of the community, Dan-O, so a special thank you for the submission. I also want to thank the Expert Trainer members as well as the Legend Trainer members on this channel, Benny Hemlock, Dr. Green Mustache, Sohan Patil, Big Burden, Andrew Pitten, Moosechu, Noodleman, and Speedster. Without further ado, let's hop into some battles. HAKAMO has really interesting defensive typing, which is why I think it's so strong neutrally in a lot of matchups, because it just walls a lot of the coverage moves of certain Pokemon. That said, these battles were done at rank 14, I think he said, and so obviously we're going to see some very interesting teams. That said, we're still going to analyze and showcase the battles as normal. The Skarmory is staying in against a Corviknight, and this Corviknight is actually running Payback for coverage instead of Iron Head. So this is neutral here, allowing us to win the zeros. The opponent actually commits the shield and then safe switches into a Whiscash. So the opponent actually running basically an old meta version of the current meta team that you are running. So pretty funny to see this here. In comes the HAKAMO. We of course resist Scald here, so we can take Mud Bombs, no problem. Now I'm going to make it to a Dragon Claw, but not before the opponent makes it to another Mud Bomb. We can survive this. It looks like the IVs aren't too great on the HAKAMO, but still a pretty bulky Pokemon. We are able to make it to the Brick Break, which is neutral coverage against the Skarmory that comes back in. That actually grabs a shield from the opponent. Can we get to another one? It looks like not quite. Where do we go from here? We're just going to take this on the Corviknight. We are. I would just let this go, and that's exactly what you're going to do. Sky Attack will connect. In comes the Gastrodon, and Gastrodon gets the full Mud Slap farm down. What is in the back? Opponent doesn't want to show us, so you are able to take that win. Into next match, we've got Corviknight into a Azumarill. Azumarill is a very bulky Pokemon, and even though it's a fairy, doesn't take super effective damage from Steel, which is okay because we're not running our Steel type coverage move for this team. That said, we do resist Play Rough, so the opponent is forced to go for non-stab Ice Beams, which are only neutral damage because Steel resists Ice, and Ice has super effective on flying, so it ends up neutralizing. They end up making a really nice catch onto a Carbink, and in comes Gastrodon. Gastrodon, of course, resisting the rock throws and has super effective Mud Slap, over farming like crazy here. Are you going to go over 100 energy and just go for the farm down, or are you going to like body slam and then farm down? No, you're actually going to earth power and undercharge. Okay, so same kind of idea. This is probably still going to do quite a bit of damage, but it does allow you to get one more Mud Slap through, allowing you to outpace the Azumarill, make it to the earth power on this CMP tie. Does the opponent let this go? No, they're going to commit the shield, and you get the defense fall, which is really, really nice. Now you can just let this go. Ice Beam picks up the knockout. Back in comes the Corviknight, and in the back is a Morpeko. Now this is what's really nice about HAKAMO's typing, is it resists both types of Aura Wheel. So the opponent is forced to go for Psychic Fangs here. Of course, Psychic Fangs is super effective coverage, but when you have a shield advantage, and you can survive one Psychic Fangs, it's no issue. You can go for one Dragon Claw, get the full Dragon Tail farm down, and the opponent will just resign the match. Into next match, we've got another Whiscash. Where are all these Whiscash coming from? But just going to stay in this matchup with Corviknight. This player did say that they had never reached Legend before, but they had been very close. They had been expert several times. So clearly a very strong battler, and I haven't really seen any mistakes here so far. And these opponents, obviously at rank 14, not really competing all that well, but this opponent is actually staying in. It looks like you can barely survive 2 Scalds with these IVs, which is pretty nice. Here comes Sky Attack number 2. They actually get the attack drop, which means they should be able to survive this charge move, and they do. On 1 HP, they actually save their Whiscash for later, and in comes Dunsparce. So you are going to come in with your HAKAMO here, resisting Rollout and Rock Slide, so the opponent has to go for Drill Run. They end up going for a Rock Slide instead, which is a bit interesting. Maybe a misclick. It looked like there was a little bit of lag there, but that is no problem. Brick Break does connect, and now that should allow you to get the full Dragon Tail farm down. Here comes the second Drill Run. Actually, it looks like the opponent will get to another Drill Run. Yeah, so you're forced to throw your energy here, not even risking a CMP tie. Dragon Claw will pick up the knockout. Are they going to come in with their third? They are, and it's a Drapion in the back. And honestly, would have been nice to have a full HP HAKAMO on this, because both Aqua Tail and Crunch are resisted on HAKAMO's unique typing. But this is still fine. We get the defense fall. I'm trying to minimize one turn lag there by doing the Elam trick. And now in comes Gastrodon. See, you're clearly up to date on what all the new tricks are. They are going to full send the Crunch. They're going to pivot into their Whiscash only to get farmed down. Now we can just farm down the Drapion, and we can take that win very comfortably. Into next match, we've got Talonflame. Okay, this is interesting because looking at this team, you don't like to see Talonflame all that much. That said, the opponent ends up going for a Dragon Claw catch onto their Azumarill. You hold on to their energy, hold on to your energy, but unfortunately your energy is completely walled. So the opponent can just farm up to 100 energy, go for an Ice Beam, bubble farm you down, and you're going to be in a really difficult situation. So you've lost lead, you've lost switch. Let's see how you can come back in this matchup. You've gone for the correct move, Brick Break. It's only single resisted as opposed to double resisted, and it lowers their defense. So now Corviknight can come back in, and its Sky attacks and Sand attacks are actually going to do a lot more damage than they normally would, which is nice. Ice Beam, you can take 2 of those pretty comfortably, but you're not going to overfarm by too much. Now just going for the knockout blow with the Sky attack, and it does from half HP thanks to the defense fall. Back in comes the Talonflame, and in comes Gastrodon. Now Gastrodon, yeah, gonna have to commit a shield here. They could go for the Brave Bird. It is just the fly. And the opponent, realizing how weak you are to Talonflame, is now staying in this matchup. You're going to throw on great timing, now going for a Body Slam to chip the Talonflame, and the Talonflame actually commits the shield. They understand that Talonflame is their win con, but you're going to shield right back. Now the question is, can you get to a 2 charge move before they get to another charge move? And the answer is no, they're already at a charge move here. So you're going to connect with the Body Slam, grab the shield, instantly pivot into your Corviknight, aware of your switch timer, very nice, making the catch. It's a Brave Bird full send that is massive. It forces the opponent to switch out of this matchup, and now in comes Miltank of all things. Miltank, of course, will be able to get the full rollout farm down and come out absolutely loaded with energy, which is really unfortunate. That said, rollouts are resisted, so if they are on Thunderbolt, they're going to be forced to go for Body Slam here, and they are, which is really nice, but they are going to outpace you to 2 Body Slams. Can you survive 2 Body Slams? It looks like you just barely can, and you can. Now, what is the play here? You're going to farm up, throw on the CMP tie with the Body Slam, 1 away from a second Body Slam, so if the opponent doesn't have a move, which I don't think they do, you can throw 1 Body Slam and a charge move before their Incinerate registers, and Body Slam will pick up the knockout on the Talonflame, and somehow you were able to take that win. Very well played. Yeah, the Talonflame, its Incinerates are 5 turns, so it registers on the 4th turn, which is why you're able to throw a 3-turn Mud Slap and your Body Slam. So very nice that you're able to get that. But in the next match, tough lead. You've got a Morpeko. You safe switch into your HAKAMO, and the opponent actually stays in this matchup. And I like that you kind of threw an alignment here, forcing the shield from the opponent back. And now we see why the opponent stayed in this matchup so long. They had a Skeledirge in the back, and if Skeledirge is their best response to a HAKAMO safe swatch, then something is clearly wrong. They're going to have to throw here, or else you're going to get to another charge move, and they do, recognizing that. So I imagine you just let this go, and you do. Blast Burn connects. They must be on double nuke, because otherwise they wouldn't go for a Blast Burn. But you are able to get the full Sand attack farm down. Now in comes Gastrodon. We've already seen 1 Psychic Fangs on the HAKAMO, so we can just definitely let this go. It's definitely not a Seed Bomb. They do go for the debuffing move, but you will be able to get the full Mud Slap farm down, and what's in the back, it is a Feraligatr. And so while they have debuffed your defense, it does not matter in this matchup. They're not getting a Shadow Claw farm down before you're able to 2-shield through this thing. No point in baiting, full sending the Earth Power because the opponent's already down a shield. They do get 1 Hydro Cannon off, but you can just shield that up. Mud Slap KOs, and you are able to take the win. Corviknight into Fortress. This should be a good lead, but Sand attacks versus... I'm sorry, am I seeing this right? Why are their Bug Bites doing more damage than your Sand attacks? Bug Bite is double resisted, and Sand attack is neutral. That is crazy. And you're actually going to pivot into your HAKAMO here, maybe trying to go for a Rock Tomb catch. And Bug Bite and Rock Tomb are both resisted. So once again, the typing of HAKAMO really coming in clutch here. And now you are just going to let this go. Ice Beam will be enough to pick up the knockout. They do full send the Ice Beam. Very smart play from your opponent. And now back in comes the Corviknight, of course. their defense is lowered thanks to the brick break, so you should be able to just overfarm just by a little bit, make sure they don't get to a second sparkling aria, and then pick up the knockout with the sky attack, and that's exactly what you're going to do. Sky attack picks up the knockout. Are they going to come back in with, no, they're going to come in with their third, which is a Clodsire. So you're holding on to this energy, going for a Stone Edge catch on a Gastrodon. Did we get it? No, we did not, but it was a Sludge Bomb bait anyways, so the opponent did farm up to 7, they just baited with a Sludge Bomb, and you did make that catch. That was a risky no-shield. I think they had enough for the Earthquake there, but it ends up only being a Mirror Shot. They're on Mirror Shot, Rock Tomb. Both are resisted. Can you get the farm down? No, you cannot. They actually live on 1 HP thanks to the Mirror Shot debuff, so you are going to have to commit a shield in this matchup. You get the full farm down. You're going to bank that Earth Power for later, and now you're hoping you can get to 2 sky attacks before the opponent gets to a charge move of their own, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Throwing on the CMP tie, as long as you grab this shield, you don't need to shield back, and yep, that's exactly what happens. If they did shield, you'd have to grab their shield by staying in and shielding, because you win CMP with Gastrodon either way. But as soon as you grab that shield, Earth Power is massive, super effective damage. It picks up the knockout on the Clodsire, and you are able to take that win. Into the next match, Dusclops on the lead. So neutral lead, they have quite a bit more bulk than the Corviknight, not that much more, but they are slightly bulkier than Corviknight. And Shadow Punches are of course neutral, but you do have super effective payback. And I'm sorry, did they just go for an Ice Punch? Ice Punch is non-stab. If you're the Dusclops in this matchup, just go straight Shadow Punch. They actually do let that payback go through, but it's still not enough to pick up the knockout. Dusclops just too bulky, and they have such a pacing advantage here that, yeah, they're going to make it to another charge move. Is this enough to pick up the knockout? You might survive on like 1 HP, and you do, which is nice, making it to the sky attack. So winning the zeros, that's okay for Corviknight. And you actually do grab a shield, just letting yourself go down there. I would come in with Gastrodon. Yeah, you don't want to take a super effective Ice Punch on HAKAMO, so you are just going to come in Gastrodon. They end up going for an Ice Punch anyways. They probably just saw the ground typing, but you get the full Mudslap farm down. What's in the back? A Diggersby. Now Diggersby will be met with an Earth Power before they're able to get to a charge move of their own. Now, do you pivot into your HAKAMO here because you don't know what's in the back? Yes, that's exactly what you're going to do. You end up getting a catch of the Scorching Sands on your HAKAMO. No, the opponent baited with a Fire Punch, so that's actually resisted, but oof. In the back is Dedenne, and this is rough. Just going to instantly go for the debuffing move. They're not going to shield this, so... Okay, what do I know? The depths of Elo are truly an incredible place, but they end up shielding a Brick Break, which is fantastic, and then baiting with a Parabolic Charge. This is once again only enough for a Parabolic Charge, so yeah, definitely just let this go. Maybe you bank a charge move here and pivot. Yes, that's exactly what I would have done. In comes the Gastrodon. They don't even farm up to a play rough once again, so just going to let this Parabolic Charge go through. And now back in comes the Diggersby. Diggersby now will be met with another Earth Power, and the opponent is forced to let that go because they have no shield left in play. Going to commit the shield now. This probably is a Fire Punch bait, to be honest. Yeah, it is, but the opponent is obsessed with baiting, but they cannot find a way back in this matchup. And yeah, their defense is no longer risen, so just going for the Body Slam after a couple more Mud Slaps. That picks up the knockout on the Dedenne, and that back Pokemon looked dooming, but you are able to take that win. Great lead in the next match, Corviknight into Whimsicott. Whimsicott absolutely core breaks your back line, so end up switching into a Swampert. You end up pivoting into your HAKAMO, getting the Hydro Cannon catch and sneaking a Dragon Tail through, which is really nice. Which means, because that also means you can outpace the next charge move, connect with a Dragon Claw. The opponent actually will commit the shield. I'd probably commit the shield right back. It is just going to be a Sludge, but actually nope, they're going to go for a Hydro Cannon again. Maybe they're on Hydro Cannon Earthquake. Yeah, you're going to let this go, hoping that they're on Earthquake. Hydro Cannon resisted, not enough to pick up the knockout here, so going to connect with a Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw should be enough unless the opponent commits the shield, and you actually still get the Dragon Tail farm down, so able to maintain switch, which is fantastic, because otherwise you would have been in a really difficult situation. What's in the back? It's a Talonflame, so this endgame looks like it could be tricky, because Talonflame is an absolute core breaker. If they Brave Bird here, that would be great, so yeah, just letting that go, but they do not. They end up baiting with a Flame Charge, so maybe their Flame Charge Fly. I would probably commit the shield on the second one here now that you have put this in body slam range with the earth power. I believe earth power is the right move to go for because its stab has the potential to lower the opponent's defense, and it's just a much harder hitting move. So now we're just going to go for the body slam to pick up the knockout, and that's exactly what happens. Back in comes the Corviknight. Corviknight now able to make it to a Sky Attack. And Sky Attack, while it is super effective, is not enough to one-shot the Whimsicott. And Whimsicott actually on Charm here, surprisingly, has a huge pacing disadvantage. You're able to get to another Sky Attack, and even though they're a grass that resists the sand attack, you'd never be able to farm them down, but you do outpace, and you are able to take the win. You guys can probably hear my cat going crazy with its little bell toy thing. But into the next match, Diggersby on the lead. You're going to throw 10 sand attacks and then pivot into your HAKAMO, getting the catch of the Fire Punch. The opponent banks a little bit of energy and then comes in with a Jellicent. Now, Jellicent, of course, would be a great answer to fighting if this fighting wasn't a dragon type that was using Dragon Tail. However, you are just going to let this go. You've got them into the yellow, so that's probably Sky Attack range. Shadow Ball connects, one more Hex, actually not enough to pick up the knockout, which means you are going to get to another Dragon Claw. I believe they can live this probably pretty low, but the opponent's not willing to risk it. They end up shielding that. You're now able to come in with the Corviknight, probably pick up a knockout here unless the opponent's going to commit 2 shields. No, they are not. They're going to let that go. Back in comes the Diggersby. Going to go for another Fire Punch catch onto your Gastrodon, just getting all of these catches. The opponent just throwing as soon as they get to the charge move every time, but oh man, kind of triple hard counter. You've got a Gligar in the back, and unfortunately you are not running Water Pulse. You are, however, look like, yeah, you're going to farm up to it, baiting like you have it. Maybe you can grab that final shield from the opponent. That would be a really good thing, but unfortunately no, the opponent is going to let that go. Now we're just going to start spamming out these body slams, trying to burn the switch clock. Body slam number 2 does connect. The switch timer is up, so coming in with the Corviknight, you are complete wall to energy here. Aerial Ace, Fury Cutter, Dig, it's all resisted, so just going to let that go. Back in comes the Diggersby, and you still have 2 shields left in play. Going to go for the harder hitting stab move here of Sky Attack. That looks like it's going to take 2 of those to pick up the knockout, so just going to commit the shield here on the Fire Punch. Fire Punch will come through. Can you outpace to another charge move? It looks like you will be able to, just barely. And now it's about when the opponent is going to throw this charge move. Are they going to throw it right away? They are. But you do have the shield left in play, so now you have the potential for a catch. The opponent is likely going to be looking out for it, but instead they actually pivot into their Gligar, maybe just trying to chip you into a range where Fire Punch does KO, because right now you are out of Fire Punch range, but now after that Aerial Ace connects, you are no longer, and you just throw your energy right away, because they had energy on their Gligar. So now you have to kind of go for a catch here, and that's exactly what you're going to do. And wow, just like 3 game-winning catches here to fight the alignment. Come out with the Sky Attack, outpacing the Diggersby, and you know, from Diggersby is bulky, but from 1 HP it's not surviving a Sky Attack, and you are able to take the win. Into the next match, and potentially the final match of the video, we've got Corviknight into Greninja. So another matchup where HAKAMO is a complete wall to energy, and that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to catch whatever they went for here on the HAKAMO. They're going to end up pivoting into a Scizor. Now this is a difficult matchup. Just going to throw an alignment, trying to get this Brick Break off to lower their defense, hoping that you can maybe just get this thing into the red health range, and that's honestly exactly what you did. I would just come back in with the Corviknight here, going to do the Elam trick, just trying to minimize that 1-turn lag. That's exactly what you're going to do. I think they're already at the back-to-back Night Slashes though, so this, yeah, you're going to have to take some energy on your Corviknight, but after this, you should be able to get the full Sand Attack farm down, I believe. Let's see how much energy they had. No, they make it to another Night Slash. I believe you can live this, and I think you do too, so going to let it go. Sand Attack connects, going to put you in the red health range. Oh, it looks like they got DRE, which is really unfortunate. Back in comes the Greninja. Greninja now will be met with a Sky Attack, grabbing the shield, and now in comes Gastrodon. Your Corviknight's super low, so yeah, you're going to have to commit all shields in this matchup. The opponent full sends the Hydro Cannon. That is very generous of them. They end up going for a Body Slam catch onto a Corsola in the back. Corsola now will be met with an Earth Power because we did hold on to our energy, and that actually gets the defense fall, and they commit the shield on the first, not expecting you to bait. That is absolutely huge, making it to another Earth Power, How much damage does this do? It puts them into the red health range. The Corsola now at the back-to-back charge moves. You're going to shield this up, and what are you going to do here? You're going to go for a catch. You're spamming the Pokemon, and you get the catch on a Corviknight, making so many catches in these matchups. Nightshade connects. Going to get the Mudslap Arm. No, the opponent doesn't give it to you, but no. Somehow they were able to outpace and make it to a Hydro Cannon to win that game. That is really unfortunate after those really well-played games. And yeah, that's the final match of the video. I believe you should have been able to outpace because I believe when you pick up the knockout with a Pokemon, you no longer get zero turn switch after throwing a charge move. You should get one turn switch there. I learned like fairly recently actually. So they shouldn't be able to pivot into their Greninja and outpace you. You should have gotten that Body Slam off first by one turn. So that's a little bit of the game's mistake. This would have been a fantastic 10-0, but instead it's a 9-1, but still really great games, great catches. HAKAMO looks like a very dominant Pokemon still, especially in lower elo. If you're in lower elo and you're just looking for a bulky Pokemon that walls a lot of meta typings, HAKAMO is really something to look at. You could look at its evolution, which just got a buff too with Clanging Scales, Kommo. That's also a Pokemon you could look at. Maybe run double nuke with it in the back, and then something else in the safe swap that works well with Corviknight. But yeah, that's going to be it for me from this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, peace.